Yabseo, all my beautiful people, how are you doing today? Welcome to the Alternate Point of View. My name is Tracy Lee, and welcome to everyone who is new. Welcome everyone back who is my OGs. I am so appreciative of everyone. As you can tell, I am still in Arizona. It is hot, hot, hot. So we will see how long my phone survives out in this heat. Anyway, today, you guys, we are talking about Susan Lorincz versus Florida. She was involved in a stand your ground trial, and this happened June of 2023, where she was involved in a pew pew incident in her home where she discharged her weapon inside her apartment through her front door at a woman who was beating on her door very, very loudly, to the point that it was even vibrating pictures in the walls and even her neighbors' walls. And she claimed she was in fear for her life. After even calling 911, she went into her bedroom, got her weapon, and shot through the door, and that, in effect, deleted the woman on the other side. Well, this decided the police to charge the woman that lived in the apartment with manslaughter. Well, she used her defense, which is a thing in Florida of stand your ground. You have the right to protect yourself and your property, and that is what she claimed she was doing. She claimed she was in fear for her life. And I watched this trial. It took me a while to catch up on it. The saddest part were the children, because apparently this is what this argument or confrontation or whatever you want to call it was about. So it turns out that this is kind of like a cul-de-sac style or duplex style apartment area where there's duplexes, and then there's common space, and there's more duplexes, and there's common space, and there's more duplexes. So this was in Florida, and Susan Lorincz lived in one duplex. Another person lived next to her. Then there was common space, like grassy area, a couple of duplexes there, and so on. Apparently, AJ, the woman that is deleted, had 4 children. She lived across the grassy area and road in another duplex. Well, apparently AJ's 4 children like to play in the grassy area common space, which is where Susan Lorincz lived. Well, apparently Susan Lorincz did not like the children playing outside of her duplex, and she would complain all the time about the children. She would apparently call them names. She would tell them to leave, get out away from her house. She would have confrontations with the mother. This would go on even to the point of having the police called many occasions, I believe up to 14 occasions. And apparently on this night, this came to a head where the children were outside of Susan Lorintz's property. They were very loud. Miss Lorincz apparently, allegedly, took one of the children's iPads. There was a roller skate thrown, names called, unpleasant names, apparently possibly some even racial slurs. That is allegedly. Then the children went and got their mother. Their mother goes storming over to Miss Lorintz's duplex and is beating on her door, banging on her sliding glass door, telling her to come out. She is going to have a talk with her. She's calling her names. According to Miss Lorincz, she hears, "I'm going to kill you." She's hearing other words. The neighbors and all say that AJ did not say that she was saying, "Come out, come out. I want to talk to you, you FNB." So there were some explicit terms used. She was banging on her sliding glass door. According to witnesses, she was banging on her door Miss Susan's door, there was, it was very loud. It was very confrontational. So not taking anything away from the fear that Susan probably felt. Is it justified? Was it stand your ground? According to the law in Florida, you only have to fear for your life. Now, Susan Lorincz was an elderly lady. She has some disabilities, and she, in her mind, and then she said this over and over and over in both of her interviews and interrogations, that she was very fearful for her life, that she was very afraid of this woman coming into her home, that the walls were shaking, this woman was banging on her door, and it, to her, felt like 5 minutes at least, that this woman was constantly beating on her door and screaming, "I'm going to kill you, I'm going to effing kill you." That's what she was hearing. So in her mind, she was very, very afraid for her life. And she went into her bedroom and got her 38 special. And that's what she used. Now, mind you, she did call 911 in advance to let them know that this woman was beating on her door, banging on her door. She did explain to them the scenario, what happened, that the kids were, being disruptive, that she had words with the kids. She explained all of that, the roller skate. She told them about all of that. And then to Miss Susan, it seemed like an eternity. So it felt like a long time that AJ was banging on her door, beating on her door. So that's when she took matters into her own hands, and she did bang, bang through the door. And that, unfortunately, hit AJ. Now, it was only one shot. She did not multiple times bang. The problem with this is, of course, she's saying she was fearing for her life and she was using the stand your ground. She was afraid. Now, here's the law with the stand your ground. With stand your ground, you do not have to retreat in your own home. If you want to defend your home, you are allowed to do so. You are allowed to bang, bang in your own home and defend yourself and your home. You don't have to hide. You don't have to run. You don't have to any of those things. You can do that in your own home. If someone is threatening you, or you feel you are threatened, if you feel you are in fear for your life, you are allowed to defend yourself. So if you legitimately feel that way, then you are allowed to defend yourself. It does not matter how someone else thinks you should feel in that situation. It does not matter how you think you would act in that situation. It matters how that person felt in that situation at that time. So that is the law. Now, in this situation, AJ was a 5'7", 200 and something pound woman who was in her 30s, half the age of the old woman that lived in her duplex, who was very afraid of AJ and her children, apparently. I don't know. She just wanted to live her own peaceful life. Now, I am just going to say I'm on the fence about this case, so you guys can give your opinions and your comments. Now, do I think it was excessive that, she didn't know what she was banging at when she did that through her door? But I will say this, I do work with elderly people. Time does not run in the same manner as it does for some others. To them, when they call me downstairs and they're like, I have a water leak, or I have my smoke detector has been going off, they could literally have just called me and I haven't even had a chance to get up from the desk, and they'll call me back and go, when are you getting someone up here? So for them, it's like an eternity. So time is really, it's different for everyone. Also, they made a mention that she asked about her cats And so that made her seem not remorseful or like she didn't care about what she did. Again, when you're an elderly person, your cats, those are your world, that's your life. And that, so honestly, I have old people that literally, that's all they care about. They are deathly afraid of anything else and everything else, and they get fixated on certain things. So I can kind of understand that. And also this whole fear for her life thing. Some people, when they get in those stages of their life, they really are like their domain, their home, their little space. Even she had little "don't trespass" signs out. Uh, Even though that common area was not hers, she obviously felt like her patio area, that was hers. Her apartment, that was hers. And even though she didn't own the entire area, her space was her space. And she really felt like people needed to respect her space. So in her mind, when someone comes banging on your door at dark and you're a old person by yourself, now she wasn't like ancient or anything, but she doesn't have anyone there, she doesn't know anyone, she's clearly looked at as the mean old lady, the crabby old lady in the area. She just wants to live in peace. Now, not everybody feels that way. Also, because she and AJ had a bad history, AJ would let her dog go just like poop in Susan's yard all the time and didn't care. So they had animosity. They had history. I'm not saying that, obviously AJ did not deserve to be deleted, but I mean, she left 4 children behind, and that is something that is absolutely awful. These kids don't have their mother. But based on the law, I will say, hearing the closing arguments, the defense attorney did a very good job on her defense closing. I really would have been hard pressed not to be convinced by that closing argument, because she's right. With the stand your ground, if that person standing their ground felt legitimately that their life was at risk, and the law says you are not required to retreat, you are allowed to defend your home. And if that person is trespassing on your property and they have some type of intent, which clearly AJ, who showed up on her property, beating on her door and beating on her sliding glass door, telling her to come out, she wasn't having her come out for good intentions. And I mean, she was being a mama bear and she was protecting her children, and she was very angry about whatever Susan Lorincz said to her children. She was going to either have ugly words to say to Susan Lorincz, or it would have gotten physical. So this wasn't a banging on your door like the police to have a nice little chitty chat as neighbor to neighbor. No, AJ went over there with purpose. So Susan had every reason to be worried about what AJ's intentions were. So it was, to me, this would have been a difficult decision. I'm just saying, because I am pro protect yourself. Obviously, I do think that Susan Lorincz, probably, if that was an option, reckless. I do believe she was very reckless. And I know she didn't know whether or not AJ had a weapon. Also, like, I don't know if she knew if those kids were on the other side of that door. It was very reckless. But I do believe that Susan deserves some type of punishment for her reckless behavior. And but I also believe that in Susan's mind, she really was in fear for her life, and she really did fear something. Maybe it was made up in her mind, but regardless, I do feel like she had fear. Does that negate her behavior? No, but I do believe there was something wrong with her. And I do think that it's very sad, again, we should pray for AJ's family. They've lost someone. They've lost a mother, a sister, a cousin, a daughter, and I just feel sorry for her and her children. So, but very odd case, and I really think that Florida should take another look at Stand Your Ground. I don't think it's being used in the right way. That's just my opinion. I hope you liked the recap, and I hope I will see you all. Actually, I know I will see you all very soon. I have to recap Tennessee, that disgusting trial, and then I also want to recap the journalist in Las Vegas trial, because that looks very, very, very interesting. Thanks to Brandy for suggesting it. So, talk to y'all soon. 감사합니다.